Hi, my name's Nancy Fegley. I learned two things at my sister's wedding. 1. Sparkling water burns when swallowed with humiliation. 2. Freedom sometimes wears a cocktail dress and a fake smile. The country club smelled like polished wood and certainty. Kelsey looked airbrushed, like a magazine that never folded. 3 open bars, a photo booth, monogrammed napkins, money exhaling softly. Dad raised his glass. "Some kids make you proud," he said. "Others just take up space." Laughter, small and safe. I lifted mine. Good thing I just got my own place. Everyone went still. Even the band forgot the next note. That's when silence stood up, and I chose the door. Where are you watching from? Drop your city in the comments. I want to see how far this story travels. We're not the airport hug kind of family. We believe in ledgers, not affection. When I asked for help with tuition, Dad didn't hesitate. He printed a contract. 10% interest, 1-year term, failure to repay clause. He slid the pen toward me like passing down tradition. Meanwhile, Kelsey flunked freshman year, wrecked her car, and got a new one by Friday. No contracts. Just we all make mistakes, written in frosting. That's the rhythm, my work measured, her chaos excused. I paid him back, every cent, down to the last $3,062.18. Memo line, as agreed. He didn't reply. Silence means transaction complete. I learned to read quiet like fine print. Mom texted days later. Proud of both my girls. Both meant her favorite first. I scrolled job listings at night. Spreadsheet open. Column titled Oxygen. Cities that sounded like second chances. Portland, Boulder, Asheville. Every sale online added to my escape fund. $50 for a blender of bad memories. $100 for a dress that never fit their version of me. They called it family support. I called it survival math. In our house, love had receipts, and forgiveness had interest rates. Even my dog learned not to bark too loud. Some nights, I wondered if I was cruel for keeping count. But the numbers made me feel less erased. Dad's voice replayed in my head, crisp and transactional. Just business, Nancy. Maybe he was right. Maybe this was the first time I understood profit. I stopped asking for love once they started sending invoices. 6 weeks after the wedding, Kelsey called. Her voice shook like a secret trying to stay polite. "We've been fighting," she said. He disappears. He says we rushed it. I didn't say what I wanted to. You married a resume, not a man. Instead, I drove across town to help her pack. Her apartment looked half erased, photos still sealed in envelopes. The kitchen smelled like panic and cheap perfume. We folded dresses she'd never worn. She said, "You were right to get out." I didn't answer. Sometimes silence protects more than words. When she hugged me, it felt like she finally learned how. I left before our parents arrived. I didn't want their practiced sympathy. Back home, my suitcase waited under sweaters. Half open, half promise. Every night I added to my escape fund. $50 for every guilt trip survived. $100 for every silent dinner endured without crying. It became a strange prayer. Salvation measured in small deposits. I listed cities again. Portland, Flagstaff, Asheville. Each one breathing possibility. Mom called sometimes. Her voice dipped in honeyed worry. "Is everything okay, Nancy? Your father didn't mean that toast." I smiled into the phone. "Sure, Mom, everything's fine." That's our family dialect. Denial disguised as care. I hung up and opened Oxygen XLSX, my new gospel. Every cell meant freedom in numeric form. At night, I'd imagine new mornings. Waking somewhere no one measured me by usefulness. Drinking cheap coffee in peace. Hearing silence that didn't hurt. Lucas texted from his motel. "Undercooked chicken, missed me, same humor as always." He was steady, but distance turns good men into echo. Naomi texted once too. "He's lucky to have you." Her sugar sentence left a film on my teeth. I didn't reply. Some silence is mercy. The group chat kept spinning curated memories. They skipped my name like a song they didn't buy. My days became small rehearsals for leaving. Morning coffee, fake smiles, invisible countdown. I practiced answers I'd never give them. I sorted documents, scanned receipts, hid the USB. Each dollar saved whispered soon. I rewrote passwords with words like grace and cedar. I knew I was changing quietly, molecule by molecule. One day, they'd realize the version they controlled no longer existed. On Sundays, I drove past the airport and timed the lights. Freedom loves a schedule. My suitcase stayed open, breathing like a living thing. I tucked a notebook inside labeled next chapter. When the zipper held, so did I. My suitcase stayed open, breathing like a secret that finally chose itself. Comment 1 if you've stayed silent just to survive. Comment 2 if you finally left and learned how to breathe. The morning sky looked colorless, the kind that makes breathing feel optional. I sat at my desk, laptop open, hair tied back for luck. Before logging into my final interview, I checked my reflection. Same face, new pulse. "Don't shake," I whispered. "You belong here." The video call started. 3 faces in tidy digital squares. They smiled, asked about leadership, resilience, creative problem solving. But one question stayed. "Where do you see yourself in 5 years?" I exhaled. "Somewhere I don't have to apologize for breathing." Their nods felt like open windows. For once, silence wasn't judgment, it was space. When the call ended, I sat still and counted breaths. Then my phone buzzed. 5 missed calls. Mom. Another text arrived. "Nancy, call me. It's urgent. Urgent." Our family's favorite leash. I ignored it. But the buzzing didn't stop. 7 calls. Then one from Kelsey. "Don't come home." My chest locked. I called immediately. She whispered fast, panicked. "Mom found your spreadsheet. The list of cities, the budget." She's furious. She told Dad, "You're plotting to humiliate them. That you've planned this for months." My hand trembled over the keyboard. "How?" "She went through your laptop when you were downstairs. Said she was checking your battery." The room tilted. That old violation burned hot again. Kelsey's voice cracked. "They want you to come home for a talk." Dad's pacing. Doors closed. "Nancy, don't." The line went quiet except for our breathing. It sounded like 2 people finally believing the fire was real. I stared at my screen until it blurred. Then, at 4:07 p.m., an email arrived. Subject: Offer. Creative Strategist, Portland office. I read it twice, maybe 3 times. Full salary. Remote position. Health benefits. Everything they used to dangle like a prize for obedience. My fingers shook as I forwarded it to myself twice. Backup for fate. I wanted to call Lucas first. He picked up fast, voice bright. "I knew you'd get it. I'm proud of you." Then softer, "Your mom called this morning." "She what?" "She said she's worried. Said you're acting strange." The words hit like deja vu wrapped in sugar. He hesitated. "She mentioned Portland." Of course she did. I closed my eyes, the victory already bruised. Mom's next text landed. "Family is forever. Don't make rash choices." A hallmark warning. They couldn't control me, so they tried to narrate me. Across the room, my half-zipped suitcase waited like a witness. I pictured their living room, chairs angled for the ambush, a script printed, my lines underlined. I set my phone face down and let the silence breathe. I was not going back for a private trial with no jury. I opened the offer again and whispered, "Yes, I heard you. Paper could wait, resolve could not." And that's when the decision hardened into bone. They broke into my plans and found out I had one without them. That night, I moved like someone packing a crime scene. Not guilt, evidence. Every folder backed up, every message deleted, browser wiped clean. I emptied drawers, folded the life they thought they owned. My room looked sterile, like a model home staged for strangers. The suitcase waited half-filled, zipper open like a held breath. Kelsey knocked once, 3 soft taps. She stepped in quietly, eyes red but steady. "They think you're asleep," she whispered. "You shouldn't be here," I said. "I needed to see you before you go." Her voice cracked. "They're angry because they don't own your story anymore." That line hit harder than any slap. "I can handle anger," I said. "Just not pretending it's love." She nodded, pulled something from her pocket. A folded note. "Open it after you leave." When she left, I tucked it in my bag like a promise. At midnight, Mom texted, "Come home, Nancy. We can talk like adults." Dad followed. "Don't make a mistake you can't undo." Authority disguised as care. Their words used to chain me. Now they sounded like fear. I powered my phone off. The world stayed blessedly quiet. I opened my laptop and closed the old account. Transferred my savings, changed passwords, logged out everywhere. Blocked Naomi's number and archived her sugar sentences. Packed the USB with copies, tucked it under my jeans. By dawn, the house was still. No footsteps, no voices rehearsing control. I zipped the suitcase, grabbed the USB, one last look around. Every wall whispered history. I didn't answer. I slipped out the side door, same one from Teenage Escapes. The grass was wet, sky gray, air sharp with rain and release. A taxi idled at the curb, engine low like a heartbeat. The driver didn't ask questions. I didn't owe explanations. At the airport, I found a corner seat by a window. I finally opened Kelsey's note. "Nancy, if you're reading this, you did it. I'm proud. Don't come back for me. I'll find my own way out. I read it twice. Not guilt, recognition. The cycle was breaking and she knew it. I folded it carefully, slid it into my journal. I wasn't leaving to punish anyone. I was leaving to breathe. Boarding wasn't for 30 minutes, so I called Lucas. He answered sleepy, then awake, then relieved.
I'm safe, I said. I'm really doing it.
I know, he said. I can hear your lungs from here. The boarding call echoed through the terminal, soft but certain. I stood, feeling every quiet victory stack inside my ribs. Outside, rain streaked the glass like confetti that missed the party. I smiled for no one, just the version of me finally visible. I didn't run. I exited their story and started mine. Portland smelled like wet cedar and second chances. My apartment was small, cracked tiles, humming radiator, a view of a parking lot. But it was mine. The silence here didn't punish, it rested. That first night, I unpacked slow, jeans, laptop, notebook. Kelsey's note went in the kitchen drawer under the cutlery. A reminder that leaving isn't betrayal. Sometimes it's the only honest love. Work started the next week. The team treated me like a person, not a project. My ideas landed. My boss said I had a steady fire. For someone raised signing contracts for affection, trust felt unreal. But peace tests itself quietly. Mom texted photos of dinners, perfect tables, empty chairs. Dad never called. That silence used to bruise. Now it meant space. Weeks later, Kelsey left a voicemail, steady, not tearful. Hey, Nance, I got the job, Chicago. Mom cried, though, control, not grief. I wouldn't have done it if I hadn't watched you first. Leaving isn't cruel. It's how we stop pretending. Her words felt like sunlight hitting old dust. I smiled. I whispered, I love you too. That night, I opened my window. The air smelled like rain and rosemary. A train horn echoed somewhere. Once it meant escape, now it meant life. I brewed coffee, watched the streetlights hum below. No applause, no witnesses, just quiet proof I'd survived. Peace doesn't announce itself, it just sits beside your coffee, waiting to be noticed. And I finally did. Peace didn't shout. It unlocked the room and handed me the keys. If this story hit you, like, share, and subscribe for more real stories.